Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Brian back with another video, and I've been kind of going in on this series of mine, and I've titled this series Black Ownership. It's a hashtag kind of movement that I've been going deeper and deeper into, and it's like I'm just basically trying to find angles of logic and kind of pass on some perception, not perception, but some outlooks on what we as a culture need to do and start doing. Not even just starting, not talking, but doing things that we need to be more introspective about as it pertains to our culture and what we need to do to become better empowered. Because we cannot continue to speak and talk and complain from a position of weakness. Now, in order to become stronger, we must attain power. In order to attain strength, we need to work on ourselves first and foremost before anything else. We cannot continue to focus on others and look for others to make us stronger. It is our obligation and our responsibility to do that for ourselves. And that's what got me to thinking about the whole black ownership cycle of thought. And the more I ponder on things, the more I think about things, the more things come to mind that we need to work on. And one of those things is today's subject, which is our honor code. And an honor code is something that is intangible. You can't really, labels. You can't really point out specific things that constitutes an honor code per se, other than, I guess, how you, the things you do for work or something like that. But it doesn't necessarily have to be something that comes down to a physical activity or an act. But it does seem to be something that, to me, is lacking in our culture now. You look at other cultures, and I don't really want to get into comparisons and stuff like that, because it's not about others, it's about us. But I do look at other cultures and I see certain things that are kind of intrinsic to that culture in terms of having an honor system and how to act and how to carry oneself, especially as it represents the culture. And we, being a fragmented kind of culture, it seems like we all live an individual life that is not really geared towards worrying about how we make ourselves look as a part of a united front. And I think that's part of the reason why we're not a united front at this time. I do think that we can get there. And I think that we do need to establish a particular style of honor code. And it doesn't have, again, it's not something that has to be like in every single household, thou shalt not do this, and that, and it shouldn't be like a 10 Commandments type of thing. But it should be kind of like a 4 basic food groups kind of thing, like a generalized series of things to focus on that helps build one's stature of honor and personal accountability. Things that have to do with, like, if you're a man, you should have an honor code to be a good father if you have children, that, and not just in the sense of, oh, I'm there. It's how you carry yourself in front of your children, what you show them, because you are their first example. You are the one that they are sponging off of. So if you're walking around and you're saying, well, I'm a great dad, but you're ratchet as hell, and your kids are just basically watching you be ratchet and ignorant and, self-hating or what have you, and your idea of representing being a dad is picking your kid up from school while rocking your pants sag to your knees, and presenting yourself in a manner that doesn't really speak to adulthood, let alone fatherhood. It's it's intangibles like that. I'm not going to give examples as to what women should do and things like that, but again, to me, I don't see an honor code going on within our culture. I don't see a community honor code where, the community takes care of each other anymore. We don't clean our community. I'm really being more specific as to the real urban hood areas, because that's where I'm from. That's my background. That's what I know of. And you don't see that. You don't see people just being decent human beings to one another within the hood, within our communities. Everything is kind of like a side eye or a look of distrust towards your neighbor, your fellow neighbor. There is no neighborhood. You don't have that sense of pride in where you're at, because your conditions are always so downtrodden and messed up looking. But the problem is with that is that we're in control of our environment. So if we're not feeling our environment, but we're contributing to the very environment in which we're not feeling, then who's to blame for that? That has nothing to do with outside influences and forces. That's something, how about not pissing on the elevator? How about that? How about throwing your garbage in an actual wastebasket that is provided to you, instead of throwing it on the ground and basically just saying, oh, well, that's what we pay housing for. It's like, come on, man. It's self-responsibility, self-accountability. These are black ownership issues that I see within our culture. And of course, there is no such thing as a blanket statement that applies to everybody. So if the shoe don't fit you, then you need just relax. If it don't apply, let it fly. But for those that shoe does seem to fit rather well, then yeah, I said it, and it is what it is. You need to step it up. You need to step up your dignity game. How about that? Carrying yourself with some form of dignity, some level of class. There's nothing bad about that. And again, we don't share an honor code amongst each other like that. We criticize each other for things that we should have an honor code for. For one example is, we tend to criticize about how you can go and pay top dollar for certain stuff made by other people, other cultures and stuff like that, and not bat an eye. Matter of fact, some of y'all, you brag on it. Oh, I paid X amount of dollars for this right here. The whole All Falls Down Kanye song type of rhetoric. But when you're in a black community and shopping in a black owned business or something like that, first thing you want to do is start haggling to get a lower deal, because you black, you supposed to hook me up, instead of supporting a black business and supporting the understanding of logic that this person has to make a profit in order to stay in business. Basic stuff. So again, we don't even value a certain honor code amongst each other. We're trying to get over on each other instead of building each other up. And it's such a simple process. They speak of certain communities and neighborhoods where the same money gets passed around a particular neighborhood umpteenth amounts of times before it even leaves the neighborhood. That's building up a community. That's having an honor code system within your spectrum. With us, we're so fixated on communities outside of ours, we contribute to them before we contribute to us. We don't contribute to us pretty much at all, unless you're talking about the neighborhood bodega, owned by people not from here, not from our hood. And again, that's no disrespect to them. I salute them for their entrepreneurship. They're taking advantage of being they're being capitalists, and they're taking advantage of the capitalist system. More power to them. My problem is that we're not following examples of what works. We should be looking at them and saying, okay, y'all got a bodega damn near on every corner. you know, in certain neighborhoods, and y'all never go out of business. So you're basically making a profit off of us. Why aren't we doing that? Basic stuff like that. I want us to establish an honor code within each other's individual selves and individual homes. Me, myself, my honor code is basically as a dad, you know, as a mentor to younger people within my family, the way I carry myself as a man. And yes, when I am in areas outside of black culture, I don't want people looking at me and feeling like, gotta pay attention to this guy. I want people to look at me and go, wow, you know, this dude is a good representative of an area that I'm not familiar with, and I may have had a particular kind of perception about. You know, the way this guy speaks, the way he carries himself, his confidence, his swag, or whatever you want to call it, is outside of what I had a perception of, you know. And it's not to get validation from others. It's not about that. It's not about them. But it's really more about the you inside coming out and showing who you really are, you know. And I see better in a lot of people in areas that most people see nothing in. But at the same time, we are still locked into this mental slavery that prevents us from being okay with being better. You know, we get brainwashed into believing that being smart is a bad thing somehow. It's like you soft if you smart. You know, we get brainwashed into believing that speaking in a particular way makes you somehow corny, and instead of being intelligent, and you know, acting a certain level of laid back, or just not ready to be hostile and ready to fight all the time, shows some kind of negative correlation. I just don't get that. I do get it. I understand, you know, I know where it stems from, but at the same time, just because something comes from somewhere, it doesn't mean that that's what you have to be. Like if you're from the PJs, you don't have to be designated to live your entire life in that manner and die in that manner as someone from the PJs, and that was it. You know that there is a whole world out there, and there's really nothing stopping you from seeing and being a part of that world. Everything is right here, and no system can stop that. You stop that before any system stops it. It's your life, it's your will, it is your desire. I just hope that we come back to a sense of dignity and honor within ourselves, because a dignified person when you see them. You look at them and you're kind of in awe of them. You really feel their energy and their spirit. You go, damn, man, look at that person right there, man. Where the rest of us at like that? I think the rest of us are here. Hopefully some of us are watching this video and kind of going, yeah, you're right on that. I'm one of those people. But I've been taught that being one of those people is not the cool thing to be. Well, who tells you what's cool and what's not? Be yourself and be cool being yourself. But at the same time, I encourage you to be classy, to be dignified, and to be honorable. Hopefully, I see a little bit more of that going around, and catches on. That'll be awesome. And with that, I wish you all a blessed one. Alright, peace.